7:10 on June 1st. Calling the meeting to order. So I want to thank Heather for coming to our meeting today. When I emailed you, so Heather is the liaison for the select board for the library. And so I just thought it would be nice just for us to get to know you a little bit, for you to get to know us a little bit. So because the library doesn't necessarily report directly under the select board, we operate a little bit differently, just kind of establishing some lines of communication and, just kind of making sure, that there's information that we need to know from you. If you have questions about the library, that we can kind of start that kind of regular lines of, just touching base and being more in contact, because I think maybe in past years, we haven't been as coordinated with the select board as we could be, so. So, did everybody get a chance to go around and introduce themselves to Heather, or do you wanna do that right now?
We can do it again,
Let's do
cause
it
I'm
again,
not
yep.
always great with names, so
Let's go for that.
refreshers
I
always.
failed to do that.
Okay, yes, so. I'm Connie Strittmatter, I'm the chair of the library trustees, so.
Thanks, Connie.
Krista Gogan, I'm the secretary.
Thanks, Krista.
Tom Robinson, regular old member.
Thanks, Tom.
Josephine Amato, but I think this is my last meeting as a trustee.
Oh,
Actually, I know.
It sure was.
And
you weren't sure, but now you
Each other at
are?
other times. No,
Okay.
I've been sure for a while.
She's been on the board for
For a
quite
long, long time.
Yes.
And Morgan Brinker, regular member.
And Chris Barbera, library director.
So inviting you here, I think in our emails, I said we don't really have an agenda
No.
to talk to you about. But, I guess, do you have any questions for us about the library, or do you want us to tell us a little bit about what we're doing, or are you kind of on board, or are you fully aware of kind of what's happening with us?
I'm probably not aware at all.
Okay.
So unless there's a road race that comes up and, Katie reports on an event that ties back to the library, we don't currently, as a select board, necessarily do the greatest job with our liaison assignments, especially with boards and committees, to report back to the select board and also to the public to let people know what everyone's doing. So, giving me a little bit of a rundown, maybe what the current hours are, maybe some of the highlighted programs that are going on.
Yep.
And anything you guys need support on, or anything that I can report back or be helpful in any way.
Okay, great. Chris, do you wanna talk a little bit about, maybe our new children's programming?
Sure.
Because I think they've been doing a really great job lately.
Cause Trisha's been doing a fantastic job. So we hired, Trisha Lowe, who is a resident, as our storytime person.
Excuse me, we're wondering when when our thing starts. Does anybody know, or the lady was here that set it up? Is she still here?
Was?
She is.
I think she's in the
prob-
back.
She's in the back.
Not sure how to get in touch with them.
No. Well, you can actually say, we haven't started yet, have we?
We
Yeah,
did.
we called to
Yes.
order.
We
I
did?
did
Is
call
the
for
light on? Did they shake your?
I did.
Okay,
I
that
thought
one's
I
on,
gave-
so,
Yeah.
alright.
I think I gave it.
Yeah.
Okay, just checking, sorry. We hired her in January, February.
Okay.
And she started doing story time on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. And there was such a response that some of the older kids wanted to go, so now we have 2 story times. One on Monday at 1 and one on Wednesday at 10. And the response has been really good, very solid. A lot of people enjoy it. She is amazingly creative, picks out great books, creates great crafts, has decorated the children's room for each month. It's just amazing. I'm in awe of it. So that's our shining star. But we also, in conjunction with the senior center, we offer a senior book club where we meet once a month and they get to pick their books and read it. I bring questions and I don't have to, because they just go around, they answer the questions before I even get a chance to. But they have a marvelous time and it's a good social effort for them, so that's a plus. And it's going on hiatus for the summer, but Tony was a library assistant for a while, and she is offering the Not Just Knitting program, which is a gathering of people on Tuesday evenings, not every Tuesday, but every other Tuesday. And they just get together, they knit and they talk, or they sew and they talk, or cross stitch, whatever they wanna do, but for 2 hours they can get together. And that one, we get about anywhere from 3 to 6 people to come in. So those are the 3 main programs that we've had.
and the school.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, okay. I don't know if you knew this or not, but the school doesn't have a library. It
Okay.
hasn't had one for a few years now. In the old days, the children would march themselves over and come to the library and borrow a book and march back again. And then they had a school library, so they didn't do that anymore. When the library went away, one of the teachers came over and said, Chris, can you help us? So I said, sure, and now I have the 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders coming every other week to borrow books or just, get a positive feel for the library. And that has been very successful. In fact, there's a total of 204 students that came this past month. There might be some overlap, but it's how many visits they came, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody seems to like it and they enjoy it, and I keep myself busy with that, so.
What are the hours of the library right now?
Mondays 1 to 7.
Yeah.
Tuesdays 4 to 7.
Okay.
Wednesdays 10 to 4. Thursdays 1 to 7, and Saturdays 9 to 12.
Was there ever any interest in thinking about doing like one of the story times on the weekend for the parents who work because it seems like every story time in this area is on Wednesdays at 10. So those of us who work are like, I'd love to bring my child to the library, it's story time, but I can't because
I will broach it with, well, actually, I have to look at my salary.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to say, an hour for story time, but it's not really an hour.
No, it's prep time.
There's prep time, so there's usually, I give her 3 hours to prep and an hour to be there, so, that's basically, so now she's working, 8 hours a week instead of the 4 hours a week that she was originally scheduled, and that's getting close to my max on my payroll for FY24. So if I were to add that would be.
But maybe it could just be a repeat of the, like it's.
But
Like it's not a separate prep, just a.
So it would just be.
An hour.
An hour, alright, I'll broach it with her and see what,
The
she
other
says,
option is-
because she is a mom with 3 kids too, so.
Even if it's, like the first Saturday of the month or,
Okay.
Yeah, it might not have to be every Saturday, but it would
Right.
be maybe.
I just wonder if there's other parents who are in the same boat who like, the opportunity, but there's none.
Right.
No.
Alright, thank you for that.
Chris, it's so nice to hear about all the programming going well.
It
I'm
is,
so happy to hear that.
especially, once I came in and then COVID hit and it was like
Yeah.
nothing, and so I'm really glad, like I said, she's just doing a phenomenal job.
I love the rock garden. Like
Oh, wasn't that
I stopped by
amazing?
and looked at it when I came in. So she just started a rock garden too, where
Wow.
people would take rocks or give rocks and paint them and decorate them.
That's very cool.
Yep, like I said, she's very creative.
Do you guys have any upcoming events or activities that are unique or not the regular routine ones?
I'm still waiting on, I wanna have the Be Kind Farm, which is Mary Vardaresian and Donna Farrell, come in and do a talk about bees, because the summer reading program is all together now. Bees are a hive mind, so I thought that was a nice tie-in. I just have to work out the details with them. I'm also, once FY24 begins, I have another gentleman who is relocating from Cleveland, Ohio, who is a fanatic about the Boston Red Sox, so he's going to do a talk about that. So those are the 2 things that are up. Everything else is really nebulous, so I don't have anything hard and fast yet.
Well, if you get any of those activity or even those ideas either to me or to Katie, one of us can happily report them and try to, I don't know why, but people like to watch the select board meetings, or at least
Oh.
sometimes. So, if we get the
To find
word
out
out
what's
there for
going
you.
on in town, and
Yeah.
that could
Well, I
be-
thought it was the entertainment value,
Right.
but you never know.
Do you want to be included in the director's report that comes out?
Sure,
Because
I mean.
a lot of the information, especially
Absolutely.
when you read, that gives a good summary of events. And on the first page is like the numbers of
That'd be great.
attendees.
If you guys don't mind adding me to the email list,
Not-
I would.
Easy
I'd love
peasy.
to.
What's your email address? Or do you wanna give it to me later?
I know you can use the town one, so it's H Monroe with a U. No relation to Marilyn. Everyone always I'm like, I'm not related, I'd love to be, even through marriage, it's okay. And then the typical Hubbardston
Got it.
That's the same spelling as the doctrine? Monroe Doctrine? Isn't
No,
it?
that's-
Well, the
Is it-
Monroe's an
MOE.
O, I believe.
It is
Yeah,
an
he's
O?
an M.
Yeah. Well, it's not my husband, it's his fault. He's gotta get the
Yeah,
ancestors
seriously.
in line. I'm sure at some point they just changed the O to a U and it's all the same clan, but that's okay. Is there anything else I can do for you guys? Is there anything I can relay back, questions, any way I can help?
Well, I mean, I think one of the things we've been struggling with this year is, we've received a lot of funding from CPC and CIPC. And, we're working to try and identify a person, like a municipal building planner to kind of help us kind of prioritize our projects. So that, we worry about like taking on a project and then 2 years later we have to undo that because we're doing another project, right? So that's one of the things we've been kind of trying to figure out this year. We've been working with Nate on that a little bit. But if you happen to have anything in your back pocket, like, oh, I know a great consultant on like building facilities, we would kind of love to hear that. We're gonna also be starting our strategic planning again this year. So for many years, we didn't have a strategic plan, and I think in Josephine, like in 2019, I think we did, you, me, and.
It was 2019 to
Yeah.
2023, right?
Yeah, I think so. We put together a plan which allowed us, to qualify with the MBLC, which is the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners.
Mhm.
It, enables us to apply for grants, and it gives us a little bit more options to participate more fully in, services that they offer. So we're gonna be starting strategic planning probably in July, because our plan ends, I think it might end in 2024.
Okay.
Yep.
That makes sense if it was a 5-year plan, I think. So we're gonna be getting going on that, so it'd be interesting maybe to have a conversation with the select board about kind of like thoughts about what they see about the library, cause we did a survey with the community, but maybe also trying to get input as well from the select board on kind of what they see as the goal and the value of the library in the community, and, and helping us figure out like if we do need more funding for staffing, if we've got really strong programming, we wanna increase hours or increase staffing hours, like how can you help us kind of do that?
Are you looking to do it more as like a formal meeting at some point with the select board, or more like feedback from the select board going directly to you guys, or?
Yeah, I don't know that we
Format.
figured out the whole, like, the process steps yet.
Okay.
When we did it last time, it was a little bit more, first time going through it, we had a consultant to help us for a little bit of it, then they had to step back. So Josephine, me, and, Jane, thank you, I just completely lost that. Kind of formed a subcommittee of the trustees
Yeah.
to kind of do the draft of it, and so we did a survey and kind of got feedback and kind of put the plan out, with the approval of the overall trustees. So I think one of the things we'll want to do is think more about the process of it all. I think we got good feedback from the community, but I think it's also helpful just to get as much feedback as possible, as much buy-in and support for what we plan to undertake, so.
How did you go about getting the feedback from the community?
We did a SurveyMonkey, so, so I think the consultant we had this is before I came on to the trustees, but he did some focus groups. And then we did a community survey, and I feel like we got a couple hundred responses. I feel like it was a decent response rate that we got. Asking about like what kind of services do they want, what kind of programming do they want, what do they think about hours, what was important for collections, like what kind of collections do they want us to invest in. So that was where we kinda got some feedback from there, so, and I can send you the report that we have.
Do you remember when they did that, how they got that survey out to the public?
I feel like we.
There were some paper surveys.
Paper surveys, but I feel like we sent it out, maybe we had, the email that goes out
Yeah,
of
the
announcements.
townwide emails.
I think we maybe sent
So
it
you
out
have to
through that, too.
subscribe to get that.
That might have been where we,
It was also on the website, right?
Yeah, on the
Where-
website.
were you? Yeah,
I was
also on the
here, but
website.
I wasn't handling the website,
Yes,
but
yes, that's right.
it was on the website.
Yeah.
This next one, we could probably go with those QR codes
Uh-huh.
for that,
Great
so
idea.
people
Yeah.
like that.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
It's a new
Yeah,
New
the new
trend.
thing.
Do you think having a formal meeting with the select board would be a good idea?
I think getting you the word out as many ways as you can, so, you know, not just soliciting the select board, maybe if they have any thoughts, but also announcing to the public that you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Out of curiosity, when you did the survey, did you happen to capture the demographics of those who responded?
Yes.
There were demographic questions built into the survey.
So
So-
yes, there is, and if you want, I can probably dig it up and find it.
Well, I'm just curious, you know, cause everyone gets information different ways, right? Like, so if you're not currently tuned into the library, you may not get that information. If you're not subscribed, you may not get that. If you're a senior and you don't do technology, you know.
Right.
I'm just curious
Hey,
if
hey.
not every senior does it. Hey, I was working at a senior center during COVID, so in Wellesley. So I can tell you, we had a 104-year-old come in and learn how to use an iPad. So
Good.
kudos to everyone who's learning skills that, you know, they didn't have previously. But the question just I would have is, I'd be interested to see if the demographics of the survey mirror a proportional response to the town's demographics. And I would just take a quick look at that and see if there's anything this time around that if it doesn't, you know, which populations seem to be the
Yep.
ones missing the most and how do you target that?
Yep, no, that's really good, thank you.
So. That's all I have on my end. Do you guys, is there anything else I can do for you guys? So we'll keep an eye out for that. I'll check out, Christine's reports when they come through. See if anything exciting comes up and, you know, if there's anything else or anything you want me to promote at the select board meetings, just let me know. I'm happy to bring them up. Get feedback, you know, it seems like you guys have a good working relationship with Nate. When you need things, you guys can also go to him, but if I can help in any way, let me know.
Okay.
Great.
Sounds good.
It seems like a long way off, September, but it comes up like that, and that's our big race.
Yeah.
That's the event of the year, so to speak. So we'll need some help promoting that when it gets closer.
Well, I know Katie does a good job, but I will happily reiterate whatever I can, whatever details, and try to add enthusiasm to the excitement of the
Yeah.
race and the promotion of it so it stands out.
Yeah,
Sponsors are being collected now.
Okay.
You can share them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where do they go
Oh, did
for?
you get your letter?
Yeah.
Okay.
They go to the website for more information, or contact Christine, or how do they go
Actually,
about
Mark
sponsorship?
Mudler is our organizer, and he's been organizing this for the past 25 years.
Okay.
And he sends out the sponsor letters, and then a couple weeks after that, he sends out the application forms to previous runners. I'm trying to remember what else he does. I usually post it on Facebook, and I'll post it on Instagram, and it's always on our website, at least for the application for the road race. I don't have the sponsor letters,
Okay.
but he usually
Maybe
gets.
that's something we could add.
Could do that. Of course, I'm getting my new website soon, so
Yeah.
very
Don't-
excited.
You look so excited.
I am.
But I think you're right, I don't think that we have coordinated with sorry, just her name, Katie, on promoting the road race. So that might be something we might want to do.
Katie's very good at getting the word out,
Yeah.
so. I can try and I will do my best, but she's way better than I.
Oh.
Yeah.
I can throw excitement and enthusiasm at the meeting though, and make sure, you know, people, you know, what do you do when you watch the YouTube videos, you know how there's always a spike?
Mhm.
Yep.
And I can get that spike up for you.
Right.
Cool. Yeah, Katie and I, we've known each other, so anytime I have something that goes on, I'll either create an event on Facebook, or I'll send her the flyer and or I'll put it up on the electronic sign. So she's really good about handling that stuff.
Excellent.
Well, there's also Nate is doing those videos, so maybe that one of those could highlight the
Mhm.
library or the road race.
Yep, I'm sure
You're probably on the schedule for it at some
I'm
point.
sure at some point I am.
Yep.
And if
He's
you're not
busy right
aware,
now,
we
though.
utilize the funding, we've had the scholarship
Yep.
for a number of years, and we're going to be reviewing in July applicants for that and awarding scholarships for that.
How much do you give out total?
500 per scholarship.
Times?
So it depends year to year.
Okay.
And how much we've been able to do. So I think we expanded it last year. And also it depends on how many people are applying to it. And so if funding had allowed, if there's less funding, limits, but we started with, did we start with one or two?
I think we started with two.
Started with
I think it
two.
was 2, 2, and 3.
Yep.
Yeah, so 2, 2, and 3, and,
Okay. And are applications for that already due?
they're due June 30th, so there's still time.
Just trying to think when our next meeting is on TV. It might be time to, if, Christine, if you get me the information on that, I'll make sure I plug it under the announcement section. Jeff will be so excited that there's an announcement other than just Katie's. I'll surprise Katie. Be like, oh, I have one.
Crazy.
Is there anything else?
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, back to the bike.
We look
Yeah,
forward to
have a
working
safe,
with you.
ride home.
Yeah.
Oh, we will. We will. Hopefully it'll be a little cooler going downhill.
Exactly. Where do you live in Craig? Or-
No,
Fif-
no, no,
oh,
no,
no, it's
never mind,
actually
never
public
mind, never
record,
mind,
so
never
you're
mind.
fine.
So,
It's 59.
for 98
No
Old
flat
Westminster.
tires.
What's that?
What'd you say?
I said hopefully no flat tires.
No, we have spares in the bags. We don't travel
That's a
without
good
those.
idea.
The only thing I don't have spares for is the baby's
Oh,
baby, what do you call it?
the little carrot,
Oh,
the
Yeah, the trailer.
Yeah, that's a
So we'll see. I mean,
Thank
I
you
get
so
dual
much.
side, you sit them in the middle, take the weight off the sides, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Have a good
Have a
one.
good night.
Alright, do we wanna move on to the library director's report?
Sure. Sorry, I know I'm. Alright. Director's report for June 1st, 2023. We had 1 curbside pickup, a total of 345 patrons, 204 students. For story time, we had 68 adults, 87 children, for a total of attendees of 155 for the month. We had 9 story time events in May. We had 2 volunteers with a total of 3 visits and 12 and a half hours for the month. And we issued 3 new cards. For our Facebook and Instagram totals, for our page reach in May, it was 2,216. Page likes went to 815, which is weird. I thought, I must have mistyped April, I apologize. Page followers, May, 895. Facebook page and profile visits, which was formally check into our location, is 330. For Instagram page reach, it was 39. For followers, we're up to 102. And profile visits, we had 7. For the most popular posts on Facebook, the Rock Garden came up as a big winner with 1,402 views, followed by number 2, Story Times All About Bugs at 773. We had 109 Wi-Fi connections in the month of May. As far as our CWMR's library numbers are, our Hubbardston items circulated regardless of location was 1,652. All items circulated at Hubbardston regardless of ownership was 1,653. Requested holds for May was 199. Total number of patrons registered at Hubbardston was 1,457. Total number of items in April, oh, I did that wrong. No, I did that right. Yep, 12,119. The overdrive total checkout for 2022 didn't change. That's still 4,892. For our overdrive monthly checkouts, May had 481 checkouts. The library was closed Monday, May 29th in honor of Memorial Day. During the parade and ceremony on Memorial Day, I opened the library for bathroom access to the public. I had a total of 38 visitors that day. The Senior Book Club met on May 24th and discussed Open Season by C.J. Box. There were 6 in attendance. June's selection is 1,000 White Women by Jim Fergus. The club will meet on Wednesday, June 28th at 11 a.m. at the Senior Center. The Not Just Knitting program was held on May 9th and May 23rd with a total of 8 attendees. They will meet once more on June 13th and then take the summer off and start meeting again in September. The displays for May were in honor of Asian Pacific Islander Heritage Months in both the adult and children's reading room, along with Mother's Day and Memorial Day. We hosted 2 programs in May. The first was West African Drumming with Jafar and the Wendell Warriors on May 13th, with 13 in attendance. The second was The Rose, Find Your Voice by Pastel Painting with Greg Maychak on May 23rd. This program was supported in part by a grant from the Hubbardston Cultural Council, a local agency which is supported by the Mass Cultural Council, a state agency. We had 14 in attendance. On Saturday, May 20th, a truck driving on Main Street hit the Charter internet wire and pulled it from the building. We lost our dedicated internet line for CW Mars and our Wi-Fi hotspot. CW Mars noted the interruption and contacted Charter, who came out on May 23rd to repair the wire. That was Tuesday, so we didn't have it on Monday. The various openings from the soffits falling out of the attic has attracted numerous birds who have taken up residence in the attic. I am looking for someone to try to replace the soffits from the inside. I have made some calls and haven't received any calls back yet. The DPW will not be able to assist us with the foundation repairs. Nathan, the town administrator, is reaching out to someone who may be able to help us. I will forward what information I get after they look at the foundation. Respectfully submitted by Christine Barbera. And the third page has our account breakdown. And just as in passing, we had the previous issue with the services, and I was a little over enthusiastic about transferring money back in there. It should have been like $6 or $60, and it's $1,911.23. I have reached out to Kelly to replace, take that money back and put it back into the funds where it originally came out of. But we still have some bills that we're gonna have to address for June, which is oil and electric, which the electric dropped drastically from 3,000 kilowatts to about 1,100 kilowatts. So it'll be a lot more reasonable.
I'm sorry, you said you took money out of which account and put it into which account, and you're gonna put it back?
In April, the board authorized transfers from the donations account and one other account, which is
State account.
State account. So when cause I was a little enthusiastic in my reimbursement requests, I didn't need to ask so much to come from the donation account to reimburse the services account. So I'm asking Kelly to put that money back into the donations.
Thanks.
Have you asked her to do that yet?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I did.
Because we may have to re-ask her to move it back.
Okay.
I mean, if we have.
Well, what ends up happening now is because it's not a municipally funded, the money is not coming out of, so donation and state are not municipally funded.
Mhm.
We can just take them directly out of that account. We don't have to transfer them into services.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Gotcha.
But we did that.
Yes, because that's what I thought we were supposed to do,
Okay.
but it's
But
not
instead, when a bill comes, we could say if we need to pay from the state account, this bill, rather than moving it to services, you're saying we can just itemize paying from state account XYZ for
Right.
such and such expense. Okay.
Yep.
Alright, understood.
Any questions about the director's report? Alright, did everyone have a chance to review the meeting minutes for May 2023?
I'm caught up again. So,
Can I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the May 2023 minutes.
Can I have a second?
Do you guys wanna review them?
I can't second it, I didn't read them.
Can I second them?
I think you
I can
should.
second them. I'll second them.
Okay.
Second.
I didn't know if it would be a conflict where Chris wrote it, but
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I probably
Yeah.
can't, right?
Okay, all in favor? Abstained, or, opposed? Abstained?
Abstain.
Abstained, okay, so 4-0-1.
Okay. Thank you.
So library budgets and accounts, Chris sent an email of some outstanding bills that we have for Verizon, Peterson Oil, and National Grid, which totals $1,460.63.
Okay.
So at this point, we need to decide how we want to pay for that. Whether we want to take that out of the donation account, the state account, or how you're feeling, Chris, about personnel or supplies. Looking at personnel, at the end of April 30th, we were at 74%.
Yep.
How
that is
close
going-
do you think we're coming to 100%?
Well, now that the library director has more money coming out, I will keep an eye on it. We could probably deal with personnel. If I had thought about it, I have a more up-to-date spreadsheet that, you know, is trying to keep me as close to where I'm at now. The, as far as supplies are, we're actually down to about $700 on that
Okay.
account. Again, the services, Kelly, I don't know if Kelly's moved that money over or not yet. And then the employee support, there's $78, you can take that. But, the personnel, let me get the numbers for you, but, I think that we should be able to handle that, not, taking it out of payroll.
And we're not gonna sacrifice
I don't think so.
hours.
I don't think so. I will double check it, but, I think that we're doing okay at that one.
Would we want to make a motion then to say if there's funding available from personnel, that it'll come out of the personnel account, but if you find that it's gonna come up short,
Okay.
we wanna take it out of either donation or state, and I don't know if anybody has a preference.
I don't have a strong preference one way or the other.
I fit,
State,
if the state funds come every year, I think it's better to use that. So motion to use personnel or state accounts
Yes, yeah, so
to cover, are these still unusually high bills? Is that why we're looking at them?
it's just that we had run out of the money in the services
Okay.
account,
Okay,
so that had been zeroed out, that, we had a couple large expenses, so we went into the negative. So we didn't have money in services, and this 1911 that Chris currently has listed, she's contacted to have that moved back into
Okay.
donations.
Yes,
Yes.
Kelly has done that, so I will check that.
So our services account, while it says 1911 as of April 30th, that's not truly
I see.
accurate for where we're
I
at
see.
right now.
okay.
So we need to, the motion I think would be to use personnel and employee support funds first.
Those are two separate accounts?
They are
Correct.
two separate
Okay,
accounts.
Sorry, personnel, okay.
And if there's still a deficit, to then use the state account for any remaining funds. That sounds okay with everybody?
It does.
Okay. Can I have a motion then?
make a motion
Can we have a
as
second?
worded.
Second. All in favor? Alright, 5-0-0. Are you okay with that, Krista?
Mhm.
Good, okay. Alrighty, moving on. Our standing item agenda, town awarded funds for repairs. First floor rehab, I don't think we've had any, we're not really doing anything with that right now. There's still money to do children's lighting, windows, and library director's office. So I think we are probably maybe holding off on that until hopefully we get a buildings facilities consultant. I'm gonna jump down to that. I looked at the Conway Center at the last meeting. We had talked about reaching out to the Conway Center, out of Smith College. When I looked at their website and looked at the services that they offered to the community, it's a business school and it's an entrepreneurship business school. And most of the services I saw that they offered to the community was related to investments and, financial security, right? So it didn't feel like, I couldn't find anything on that website that suggested that they could help with building facilities maintenance, unless I'm missing something and I'm looking in the wrong spot, but I looked over the website and I couldn't find anything that suggested that they could offer consulting services on developing a maintenance plan. I did find a company out of North Andover, municipal resources, municipal, give me 1 second, my notepad. Municipal building consultants out of North Andover, and I did send them an email, unfortunately I sent it yesterday, asking them whether or not they would be able to offer consulting services to us. So I'm waiting to hear back from them. If they can't help us, I am not quite sure our next step forward. I was when I was driving home from work today, I was thinking about, like, could I maybe think about people at Fitchburg State, like, see if our capital planning people could maybe offer some insight, you know, and to see if I could hire them as, we could hire them as a consultant. And I'm just trying to brainstorm ideas of how we might move forward if this one doesn't pan out.
Did we talk to MBLC? I think maybe I said I would do that and I didn't. Should we look
I
into
did not
that?
talk to MBLC.
Okay.
So MBLC could be another spot to look at.
There's another place, Preservation Massachusetts,
Okay.
has a
I can do
website,
that.
and they have lists of different, people. Granted, they're geared towards preservation, but it's an old building, and potentially they might have somebody that would be able to, or one of the lists might have someone who could,
Okay. I can look
trust
into,
that.
I can look into that, if somebody can look into MBLC.
Okay.
Did the Mount Wachusett, not Mount Wachusett,
Monty
Monty
Tech.
Tech, did that go dry?
That's gone pretty dry.
Because they're not able, the students are not able to work
The
on them.
students aren't able to, and there were a couple within its HVAC and property maintenance that were kind of trying to come up with community connections. But that, I quickly followed up and they were like, I haven't heard back from their calls that they've made, so I'm like, alright.
So,
I don't know.
so hopefully we'll hear back from municipal building consultants, which sounds like this would be an appropriate company
Yeah.
to help. I can look into Preservation Mass,
And I
you can
can-
look into
I can do that.
MBLC.
So
and- Good.
this is on the town warrant. I'm just wondering if anybody is gonna ask questions about it and whether we have to be prepared. I mean, it's like part of a whole list, so it could be nothing, but I just wonder.
Yeah. I mean, I think, is anyone planning, I mean, I'm planning to attend a town meeting.
Yeah.
I don't,
Yeah.
So I guess if it comes up, one of us can jump up and talk about why we want,
Okay,
you know, the money.
okay. And the
So it's
committee
went through.
knows about it too, right?
Yeah, CIPC
Yeah,
knows,
so
if it's
maybe
gone through
they'll-
select board, so,
Yeah, okay, okay. I just was reading it the
unclear
other
to
day and
me.
I saw.
it's unclear to me if they go through item by item on that, or if they just do it as a blanket. Did you notice it was each one a separate warrant article,
No.
or is it all through one?
It's with a few other
It's all-
things, yeah.
So,
So it could be nothing, I just thought I was
I
mentioning.
think our theme is we wanna spend the money most effective way possible,
Mhm.
and we need some help.
if anything comes up, I can jump up and address it, so.
Well, hopefully you won't have to.
You know, it won't happen. I don't think it will, but.
So there's no
We'll
report.
push you to the front.
There's no report on the brick repair, or we just haven't got to that?
Brick repair is DPW is not able to do it.
Oh, right, that's right.
I did find a company. I'm sorry, I don't have
Why is DPW not able? They just don't have the resources, they don't
They're-
have
they're down
the
3
power,
people.
yeah.
I think they're down some people, so I think what's happened there. Sorry, let me just find. I sent an email to, I think, Chris and Tom, when Kristen was saying that DPW couldn't do it. Let me just see. I love this one subject line, Nate and DPW and birds. So.
I met with Travis, and he said he didn't have the staff capability to do it, and he steered me back up to Nate.
So there's a company in North Brookfield called Bella Masonry and Construction. So if that's not a if Nate doesn't come back with somebody, a recommendation for a company to do the work, we could try reaching out to them, or we could try reaching out to them now and just, try and move on it. I don't know if we have a preference, if we wanna wait for a recommendation from Nate, or if we just wanna try and contact Bell Masonry and see if they are available.
I don't mind trying to
Probably a
reach
good
out.
idea.
Does it have to be done before winter comes around, not before winter comes around again?
I think we would, I believe that when I went to CPC, I got that extended until the end of this year.
Physically though, is like with the building and the bricks, are we facing any problems or?
It's not like an immediate leak or something, but
Okay.
it never pays to wait,
Yeah.
especially through
Yeah.
repeated winters.
Okay, then it's probably worth reaching out.
And when you say extended to the end of the year, do you mean fiscal or calendar?
Calendar.
Calendar.
There's also a company called Raymond James Restoration out of Worcester, and they're into masonry restoration. I don't know anything more than they exist and they're in Worcester, but.
Did you say
Raymond James.
Raymond James?
Raymond James Restoration.
Would you like for me to reach out to these two?
I think that'd be great.
Okay.
I mean, I just mean it would be good to get more information.
Yeah, and it would be good to have, potentially get multiple quotes
Mhm.
as well. As opposed to- So that's kind of where we're at on all that. Any questions, comments, ideas?
It's a lot going on. It's good work.
Trying to get a needle, so.
We got the money, we're having trouble spending it.
Yeah, I know, seriously.
Knows the 2,500 for the long range plan is that.
That is actually coming off. CPC had voted to take the money back.
Mhm.
When I went in January, I asked if we could use it for a building facilities consultant, and they said no, submitted a new proposal, and then, some of them didn't think the money was still in the books, and then the treasurer was like, oh, it is still in the books, so they made a vote to take the money back, since we weren't using it.
It's
So
just
that is
starting.
so that's on the warrant, so, it's gonna be, that money's gonna be returned to the town. So you'll see that come off of that.
Okay, so the new fiscal year, you won't see that
You
one
should not see
anymore.
that in the new fiscal year.
Alright, so that'll be the July 1st will be the last, or whatever first meeting in July, that'll be the last time you see that.
That should be the last time, yes, so that should be coming off. And we should see, and I was surprised I didn't see it this month, but maybe, the library first floor rehab,
Yep.
there should be a couple thousand coming out of that account for the electrical work that we had done in the
Okay, I
building.
have, do you know who's supposed to be submitting that bill?
I submitted it to CPC and they said they were going to pay it,
Oh, okay,
so I just, maybe hasn't hit the books yet.
okay.
So I got an email right before our last meeting in May, like the day, like so early May.
Okay.
I got an email, so maybe it just didn't, this
Yeah,
was from April 30th.
Just remember, all this is 1 month back,
Okay.
because I always get the report from from the accountant after you guys meet.
Okay,
So in fact, she was, there was a department meeting Wednesday, and she zoomed in, and she said that the May numbers should be coming out next week.
okay.
So, if you want, if this is something that you
It might be helpful
want,
to see
I
them.
can certainly update this, just the financial report, and ship that out to everybody.
I think that would be helpful to have that, just because we are hitting towards the end of the fiscal year, and it'd be good to know kind of where the numbers are shaking out at, so. Moving along. I sent an email you to edit a calendar that I've started.
Oh, I saw that.
Mostly because like this year has been very much a learning year, and knowing that like CIPC grants are due in October, so it might be good for us to start talking about them in August, so that we can get quotes and be a little bit more ready to go. And then just kind of keeping track of what kind of is coming down the pike, like what do we know every year that's gonna happen, so that we can put it onto the agendas early enough so we can have discussions, so we're not kind of rushing to kind of put something together at the end. And also just to remind us, like, you know, oh, scholarships are going out in March, or, you know, we're doing library director reviews at this time of year, or, you know, so mostly just so whoever is chair has an idea of things that they should be maybe adding to the agenda and stuff like that. So this is a document that anybody can edit. So I would encourage you that if you have information to add, put it into the document. I just did a basic start, and I could have my months wrong on certain things, like MBLC stats, is that October, or am I making that up?
The ARIS report is due in mid-August. The state report is due in, I believe, early October.
Okay, so like making sure, you know, stuff like that, you know, so items for you, you know, but also items that trustees know that, oh, the ARIS report is due in mid-August, and, you know, just so there's just more transparency and understanding of, you know, events that
Process.
are happening and processes, so. So I think everyone should have received an invite with the ability to edit.
So do we wanna put stuff on and then talk about it next time? or
Maybe
something?
add some stuff and put stuff onto it, yeah.
I did make edits to it, I saw
Okay.
it today, so in it, right now, I just copied, I actually added a line for July and just put the reviewed scholarship application and then notify scholarship applicants in
Okay.
July.
Oh, yeah, I had that in June, but, that's not the right time. Oop. It's gone.
And then we had talked about a couple of different dates with regards to the director review, but if we put that into our timeline, and I feel like it would be best suited if we follow the town schedule for those.
Mhm. And Chris,
Yes.
do you remember when the town schedule is for reviews? We talked about this, is it like October, November?
I think it's, yeah, towards the end of the year,
Towards the end of the year.
end of the calendar year.
Mhm.
'Cause, well, maybe even fall, because when we do our budget submissions to the town, it is December. You know, I can't give you an exact date without looking at my annual planner, but, they usually send out, the TA sends out a calendar of what the budget process is and when things are due,
Okay,
so.
Should those kind of things be on here?
that should be on there, yeah. I encourage people to look at that and make changes to it
Okay.
as needed. So it's like a 5:30 brain dump this morning, so. Alright. So,
Yeah.
I guess, oh,
If there are the annual, applicants of when we need to do the signatures for either renewing
Yeah, for the
positions or
election,
looking
yeah.
for elections, we should add that and advertise for that and utilize Instagram, Facebook, website, et cetera, for advertising through those methods as well.
yes, because we are gonna have a vacancy because only Krista submitted papers for a trustee, so.
Are we in a position to where, in the absentee, we would be able to appoint somebody and then that they run? So if we find somebody?
Yes, so I think what we would do is, I don't know if you ever see the email saying there's vacancies on the planning board, we would.
We should have asked Heather about that.
I know, we should, yeah, we would need to, I guess, contact need, or the select board to say that we have a vacancy. And then a call comes out for people to apply. And then we get the applications, and then we go to the select board to make a recommendation, is that correct?
That's correct. You
That
bring a
is-
recommendation to the board and they appoint
Yep. And
as an interim
as an interim,
and
Yeah.
until the next election.
until the next election, until the next term. Like, so for example, with Josephine,
No,
if-
so the election.
Yeah.
so it's a 1-year appointment, so then we would have 3 people going up next year, is that?
I think we'd want clarification on this. I think that they might fill the term.
Well,
I would think
yes,
it would
but
make
when
more
they
sense.
run, they don't run for a new 3-year term. They run for the year or 2 years remaining from the person that stepped out.
Yes,
Right.
so then it would be the
It
remainder
remains
of
a
that term.
staggered
The remainder of the
position.
term,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh.
So in this case, a person coming on in Josephine's spot would be almost a 3-year term.
If we
You're
filled it
done
right
with your
away.
3rd year? Your 30th year or 3rd year?
Yeah.
I was thinking, it's like, I feel like it's 17 years or something.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
gotta
Is that
be
how
at least
long it's
50.
been? I was trying to think through that.
I feel like it was 2006 or 7 or 8, that's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it was before the,
The
Decert.
decertification, which was what,
Yes.
2009?
yeah,
So maybe it was 2007, 2008. It has been a good run. Being on the board of trustees gave me the ability to do the things I'm doing now, because then I was just mom, right? And I didn't
Don't say
know.
just.
Well, I mean, it was my most important job, but being a trustee taught me that I could do other things. I went back to school and I'm doing other things. So, thank you.
oh,
Good for you.
Even though it was a different board. Chris is really the only familiar face from way back when, but that's more from school. But yeah, but I'm grateful to have been here.
we feel very fortunate to
Yeah.
have had you here.
Thank you.
So I'm sorry, just for an instance, you did work through the decertification?
Yes,
Okay.
I opened the library. I would open the library and check people's books out.
Okay.
My kids would come with me. Were you here then, when the library?
Yes.
Yeah, do
Yep.
that, yeah. Yep, that was
As a
nice.
parent.
As a parent, yes, as a parent.
Well, that
Yeah.
transitions us nicely into our last agenda item, which is
Mhm.
our big old thank you
Aw.
Yeah.
for you, for
Thank
all
you.
your time and service, and,
Thank you.
you know, you've done a lot for the library,
Mm.
and we feel
Yeah, it's been
very
nice.
happy.
I
Thank
hope
you
that
very much.
someone steps in and, you know.
So we have to come up with somebody?
If we could either
Well,
come up
yeah.
with, we could either try to solicit somebody,
Uh-huh.
or, an email can go out saying there's a vacancy and if you're interested to apply, which is how I got onto the board. There was a vacancy and there was an email, and I replied to the email.
Uh-huh.
So it's
So we
like
would
no one approached me.
request the town
Yeah.
administrator to send an announcement.
Right, that would probably happen after the
The election, when it's official.
and then probably, they'll probably do it when they have other, there might be like all the people with that vacancies, there might be an email that comes out, but, you know, we might be the most, you know,
When's the
Interesting.
election?
Yeah.
The
13th.
town is, yeah,
June
13th.
13th, yeah.
Because we could make an announcement earlier and someone could write and get a write-in,
Mhm.
Good.
if that's considered straightforward. I don't know. Maybe it's not a great idea.
I don't know.
I'm not opposed to it.
So the person would be appointed to serve the 3-year term, we've decided
Well, they'd
No.
be, no, they'd be appointed to serve a 1-year
that.
term.
Serve a 1-year term.
Not more than 1 year.
Okay.
Till the
Till
term
the
that
next
expires
election.
the next election.
Oh, I see.
And then they would have to,
Run.
run for the remaining 2 years of that
Term.
term.
Okay.
So then next year there would be
So,
three
there
people
would
on
be
the
a
ballot.
writing for a 3-year term with 2 people running, and then a line item for a 2-year term with a single
Right,
person.
okay.
Right.
Okay.
If that's understood.
You have- Zach,
Maybe
you
when
should
you-
sign that.
Yeah.
Okay, but then you can give it to her. Did everybody sign the card?
Yes.
When did you
Can
get
we
the
just do
time
this
to
for
do
you?
that?
She's
That's
amazing.
nice.
When you email Heather, maybe you could just mention that we have this vacancy.
Reminds me of bubble letters when I was a kid.
I'm a big bubble letter.
You are.
So.
Thank you.
And then this,
Thank
and
you.
this
Thank you,
hanging
Josephine.
plant is also
Oh,
for
I
you
was
as
looking
well.
at that plant,
So-
it's so pretty. Thank
Smells
you.
lovely.
It does, so. Very nice, thank you.
Thank
Sorry
you.
to leave you all stuck with a missing person.
No, it's
Talk to
fine.
your friends.
Is this,
Yeah,
Um,
well, I
Give
was, I was,
I believe that's it, yes.
I was thinking about that too, like when there was an open position the last time, I was like, let's get Morgan.
yeah,
Cause Morgan would come
Jane
to all of the,
approached.
yeah,
and then I think you approached me.
yeah, yeah, cause you would come to the book sales and
It's
all of
called
that.
gang, yeah.
Are there regular
Yes.
library users that you think would be good as trustees?
I bet that there are a number of regular library, users that I could utilize.
Mm-hmm.
I will, I'll put a sign up on the front desk, I'll put it on, oh, by the way,
Yeah,
I
it's
forgot
so
all
cool.
about this, I finally got that display set up in the foyer, so, it's working, I mean, it's
really
there.
cool.
We'll see if anybody notices it and go from there, but, yeah, I can post it on Facebook too if you want,
That'd be great.
if somebody's interested, to let us know, alright?
Before we adjourn, what is the background on the meeting with the CPC on the night of the sixth, I think? Did anybody get a message on that?
Yeah, there's a open, meeting, to I think talk about processes, right?
For
That's
June
On the
what I
6th?
thought I read.
It's not,
That's
it's
town
not on the,
meeting.
it's not on the sixth, it is a, CPC public hearing is tonight at 7 in the senior center next door.
Oh,
What was the background on that?
It says,
I know what it says.
you have all representative committees overseas.
Like if we don't show up at that, we're not gonna be able to apply or something? It was very vague.
It was very vague and we weren't listed on it. I mean, we were listed as an email. But I don't think it'll mean that we can't apply for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll
I
check
think
it
we're-
out
I think
so
we'll be
we can-
fine.
it was
Over after this
recorded.
meeting.
It was recorded
We
as
can
well,
watch it
so
on YouTube.
similar.
That's right.
Yeah. I don't think it's gonna preclude us from being able to apply for.
I don't
CPC
think so
funds.
either, I was a little hard.
Every time I've talked to Sanda, she's been like, and asked her about money, she's like, just submit a proposal. Like outlining what you want and then, submit it. So my feelings are they're very supportive of funding the library,
Yeah.
they just want us to have a specific project and to
Clearly define it.
clearly define it and not ask us to use existing funds for a different purpose, so.
Which makes sense.
So, alright, anything else we wanna discuss tonight?
We're just gonna have our July meeting, like, it's after the holiday, so it should be no problem, right?
Right,
Just
I
like
think
a
it's
regular
July,
sixth, I just.
6th,
yeah,
yep.
Okay.
does that work for everybody?
Discuss applicants at that time.
Yeah, so we'll do yes, scholarship.
Have there been some scholarships submitted so far?
I have to look at the
Okay.
email.
It's the
Nothing
most
has been
exciting
mailed
part of the
in.
year.
I haven't received anything via the mail, but I will
Yeah.
check the,
Just a reminder, I don't remember the time of year last year, but we did extend it a month last year
Yeah.
until we got those applicants.
I think that originally it was May, right?
Well,
I think
maybe,
so too.
yeah.
So now it's June, so
Yeah.
you've already extended it. If you extend it any further, they'll already be in college. but
Exactly. And I didn't know if we should shorten it, I kinda like, this time of year is so busy for them anyways, and they might be trying to get through graduation and just get through the end of the year finals and all that as seniors. So I don't mind waiting until July, and they might just be waiting, this is something quick I can do my first week of summer break.
Do you, usually I have resent the email to the guidance counselors before the applications were actually due as a reminder.
I don't mind following up with them, I made phone calls as well as emails. And right now, we don't have anybody at Parker, but Parker's keeping it online
Mhm.
or in their mind.
Okay.
But, the other schools were all aware and shared it.
That's good. I mean, I don't believe, have we ever had a Parker applicant?
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so either.
What's
Even
Parker, the one over in
the charter school in Devon's.
Devon's?
Yeah.
I thought we had one.
One?
The girl,
From
Yeah.
Parker?
I thought we did.
Well, I know we've had homeschool representatives.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I'd have to go back.
I don't think we did last year because I remember specifically reaching out to the guidance counselor a second time and knowing the kids in Hubbardston who go to Parker and being surprised that they didn't apply.
Another list of social media library shares, would you mind resharing the scholarship?
Of course, I would not mind resharing the scholarship.
Thank you.
Of course, now I gotta find my pen.
And you mentioned excitement about the website, is there a
Yes.
date?
Not yet, but
Soon.
she's putting the she's like, oh, how do you want this? I'm like, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. I did my training, so I'm ready. I'm also, even though we have an older website, I'm still doing the descriptive for the pictures. I'm making sure that the pictures are not copies like PDFs of, you know, all the information, because that doesn't work for the machines that help read
And describe the images,
and describe the images, so
Yeah.
I've gone through the old website and I've updated all the pictures saying this is blah blah blah. You know, very short, very sweet, but
Very good, thank you very
So-
much.
you're very welcome.
And that unveils about when?
I'm hoping the sooner the better. I sent her out an email after I got back from vacation, and I will send her an email.
So it's imminent.
I'm hoping.
Good,
Excellent. Very good.
good work.
Any other items for discussion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
It's 8:12, so I have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right. Thank you all.